It's working. Ken, how we doing?
Hey, good bud. How are you?
I'm doing well. This is the big to do right now. Multiple offers. So we're not looking to get into an argument with anybody, even though that's going to come. Some realtors are going to say, "Oh my God, this is the best time ever," and some are going to do open houses for weeks at a time and not sell the property. So we're trying to find out, what the truth is. Where does it lie? In the markets that we're in, we're going to share with you what we see and what we feel right now. But give me some facts right out of the gate. Spring of 2023 versus spring of 2022.
Certainly easier if you're looking to purchase, meaning that the competition is a fraction of what it was a year ago, or the marketplace is still substantially easier for a buyer. However, that doesn't mean that you can negotiate prices down, negotiate concessions. So it's really, really spotty whether or not a buyer can captivate the seller's undivided attention. And what I mean by that is that there's one offer on the table, and that can go back and forth over the course of 24 hours to get to a sweet spot. We haven't seen that circumstance in a few weeks, meaning that in Florida, Michigan, and out here in Arizona, regardless of what you read and hear, when the buyer's going in to put an offer on a property, in every instance we've had in the last 2 to 3 weeks, there has been somebody else that has also had interest in that home. Now, the good news is it's only 1 or 2 people compared to 20 or 30. But that was long-winded. You get what I'm trying to say. Maybe.
It's awesome.
It's a chaos.
Okay, so last year, everybody listening, realtors did not need to do open houses. True or false?
No, my gosh, if the sign guy was going to put a sign in the yard, even before it was listed, there was activity. Correct.
Okay.
Buyers could smell out a new listing and start lining up.
So no open houses last year, not needed. This spring, open houses?
Yes.
Guys, that's like the simplest form we can give that says this market is completely different than last year. I don't think that we've ever seen anything like last spring where open houses.
I never had.
Okay.
Correct.
So we're sliding back into some sense of normalcy. So let's forget. Well, we can't completely forget last year because that cash component of it was such a big deal. And we had the all cash offers and the cash offer programs that were still out there. How are those doing this spring?
Well, you touched on open houses. Open houses are needed to market the property, but open houses are also needed for real estate agents to acquire new clients. So a year ago, acquiring new clients wasn't as difficult. Now they need to acquire new clients because the amount of transactions going on in every marketplace is down substantially from last year. Okay, so that leads it to, if there's less transactions, lenders have less business and they have less profits. So the cash programs where you could contract with a company to, in theory, buy your home to free up your cash, that has disappeared because those companies couldn't make any money, and they've discontinued all of those programs because hanging on to their cash for other needs is more important. So if you're buying cash now, you really have to have your own cash.
Well, there's no speculative nature that says the home value is going to go up because people are driving the prices of the homes up. So they have a cushion or a safety net.
Right.
That's gone. Hence, these programs have left the building. Now we still see cash offers and we still see more than we typically do, right?
Oh my gosh, especially in Florida. It's ridiculous. It's crazy, depending on what area is down there, but those cash transactions are a large number of what's going on.
All right. Investor / institutional buyers in spring of last year versus spring of this year. Are they
Again,
even
a sizable difference, right? Meaning that everybody wanted to buy, and Wall Street money was buying properties for investment. That has slowed down considerably because values of homes are not widely accepted that they're going to continue to go up at 10% a year. So yeah,
And the rates are from 3 to 7. There's no
Yes.
return on their investment. It doesn't make sense for them to jump in right now. The cost of money is too expensive. The cost of the property is still too expensive, hasn't come down. So those
Same
guys
thing,
are out of the way.
same thing for individual investors, onesie, twosie. When you're talking about rates in the high 7s for an investment property loan now, that is compromised cash flow or your return on investment. So even those are few and far between. All that's good news for home buyers, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of my notes here. More folks don't feel pressured to have to get into a bidding war. They're going to wait it out. They believe more will come to the market, or there'll be another one to look at in the next day because of the lack of transactions that are happening, because it's harder to qualify. So they're not as much doing that fist fight bidding it up.
Yeah, the momentum for the I have to buy crowd, or that FOMO, has definitely shifted, meaning that people are saying, given that rates are high, hey, I want to buy, but I'm going to find the right spot and I'm not going to get into a crazy scenario. I hear that a lot from people. Now, when they see homes and the people that have to move, they're viewing that slightly different, but the people that want to move are absolutely saying exactly what you said. I got to have something go in my favor.
The buy and refi later, the date the rate, marry the house, marketing campaign slogan, thoughts on that? How's that worked out for folks so far?
So far, it hasn't. I still think that is something to consider. It's only something to consider if you're truly qualified, meaning that, hey, because I want to move, and there may be some dynamics that say I have to move, can I make this work? And then how much maybe it may be able to improve down the road. Those are more the conversations we're having, not trying to talk people into do something they're uncomfortable with, but just that part of, hey, if you can get into a home now and you're not competing with a bunch of people, does it make sense to buy now because you have to, and then look at refinancing later? Because as mortgage rates come down, it has to pull in more people that qualify and want to buy. So it's kind of that math of, hey, if I got to pay a little more in a rate until rates get lower, but I can get a home and not have to pay over asking price, where does that
you're
break
going
even?
On a couple of years now where folks have not been able to make this leap, in the level of angst or frustration you're seeing from the folks who are renting right now, that's not getting any lower or any better for them, correct?
No.
Okay.
No,
So-
it's still emotionally taxing.
Makes total sense. It's
I
not
feel for
yours. Yeah, a 12-month lease is such a short period of time. I mean, you're due up in 10 months to start looking again, and that goes quick. Talk to me about the home goes on the market. You're going to know quickly in that first 2, 3, 4 days if there's a multiple offer situation. If there's not, great news for that potential buyer. But then it waits 2 to 4 weeks till the next price reduction hits. And then it's the same case, another 2 or 3 or 4 days to see if multiple offers are coming in at that new price point. Can you tell me your thoughts on that, or just what you're thinking there when you hear that? Because I think
Yeah,
you're
well,
asking, how long's the house been on? Has there been any price reductions?
oh, for sure. That's the thing that a lot of people, when they go out and see the home, the first 2 or 3 days it's on the market, that's a tough scenario to go in and ask for a price reduction and seller concessions, right? That it's too fresh in the seller's mind where they're thinking, hey, I'm going to give this a couple weeks to find out what people are really interested, if they're interested in my home or if they're not. Um, and then we get to that spot where we see occasionally where there's aggressive price drops within 30 days. That typically means, hey, it's a motivated seller that either they have to move or maybe they were fishing for a ridiculous number to begin with. So
That's
most
not
of the
going to
time,
change.
no, that I think that
That's going to continue on for the next 12 months, right?
I had a real estate agent tell me 20 years ago that his favorite line to people was, dude, it doesn't cost you anything to go fishing. Meaning if you want to try that, great. Just, be understanding that this isn't going to be a normal sale transaction process. So yes, in anyways, the price drops, that typically brings in more people with some excitement about, hey, now I can get a deal. And we've seen a couple of those where the price drop and they go, yes, I'm all fired up. And then sure enough, there's a couple other people interested at the same time.
That is, go back to last year and the amount of prep time before the actual first offer went down was significant. Well, now that's a little bit less, but it's taking 2 to 4 weeks after the home's on the market to really get a feel for where you should be coming in at. And it's not about offending the seller by any means. It's about you trying to identify, do I really want this house? And can I get some concessions back to help me feel a little bit better about the pain I'm about to take on? And when I say pain, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months with values. You and I believe they're going to still come down a little bit, but we don't know.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be a gradual easing. But the problem with the whole market right now is this inflation and mortgage rates, because as mortgage rates come down, activity is going to heat up. And we don't have an abundance of homes on the market right now. So as you and I said, as soon as somebody calls us to do a refinance again, that means rates have gotten low enough that that's when people will consider moving off their 3% interest rate that they currently have. Until that happens, we're going to struggle with inventory for a while.
The builder permit is negative year over year. The builder's pulling new permits for things to be done in the next 24 months. Hence the inventory challenge that we think we're going to run into here down the road. So you got sellers that want to put their house on the market knowing that they might be giving up a 3% rate, but they also know that there might be somebody that come in and jump in and take it at this higher number, and their pain will come later, that seller, when they go on to the next one or the next one. So everybody's just weighing the pros and cons of whatever move they might need to make right now. It's fascinating, really, really fascinating to see these last 2 springs line up. I don't think we've seen anything like this ever in our 25 plus years of doing this in back-to-back spring markets.
No, the struggle of inventory and the competition, the last 3 transactions that we went through, we had spent time talking about possible buy downs to help ease the affordability for a period of time. We talked about seller concessions, and all 3 of those, both of those conversations just got kicked to the side because somebody else had some interest, and they had to kind of inch up their offer and make it as appealing as possible to win. So it's just bizarre.
That's just kind of like if we looked at 2024 spring, we think that that's going to be a little bit more balanced or normal compared to, it'll be 180-degree opposite of last year. And this is kind of like a middle zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And again, it's just because of the concern of what's going to happen. So I think every month that goes by, everybody's going to get a better idea of what the baseline is and what to possibly expect, in the future. It's just chaos right now.
Well, guys, here's the good news is we talk to lenders and real estate brokers, sellers, buyers, clients all day long. So this is what we do is advise people on what we think, see, hear, smell, and try to give them a good frame of mind to make good, solid decisions in whatever market it is. So give us a call, reach out to us. Hopefully you're watching this, like and share, subscribe to our channel so you get our stuff. But Ken is the best at identifying what it is that you're ultimately trying to do and helping you set up a game plan to get there. So thank you, Ken. Awesome information. And we'll see you next week.
All right, bud. Take care. See ya.
See you. Bye.